Okay, well, it is 3:45, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Thank you for those who are here. If there's anyone watching out in cyberspace, we welcome you as well. All right, let me unfreeze my computer screen, actually our television, so we can see what's going on here. All right, let me give you a quick overview of what we're going to be covering today. Starting off, we'll talk about setting up Google Classroom. We'll talk about the Classroom Stream. We'll pivot then to working with classwork, and then we'll talk about a few of the new features in Google Classroom that you might not be familiar with at this point. Well, before we actually get into setting up Google Classroom, I want to go ahead and get the most awesome feature out of the way, and that is, it's Google Classroom's 5th birthday, so they had to do something special for the program. So you'll see they put this little cupcake right there. And if you click that, it's going to put confetti all over your screen. And you can just sit there all day and play with that to your heart's content. And so that'll stay there, I guess, the whole year. I don't know how long they'll keep that up. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. And if you all want to begin and just follow along in Google Classroom, that's fine. Classroom.google.com. All right, and you'll want to make sure that you sign into your Google account. I'm going to be using my Tech Training for Teachers account to demo this. That way I don't have to run into any privacy issues with students, or these are all fake students that I've created as we look at this. All right, so when you go to classroom.google.com, you'll likely automatically get into one of your already set up pages. I have moved away from that, and I'm into the Classes section of Google Classroom right here, all right, which is what you all should be at right now. As you can see, we have a few cards. These cards represent our different classes. To create a new class, it's very easy to do. Just to the right of our little cupcake there is the plus symbol. Right now, when we click on that, that's going to allow us to join or create a class. If a student is wanting to join a class that you've already created, they would simply click Join Class and then enter the access code. All right. For us, if we want to create a class, just choose that option there. Give your class a name. You can include a section number, type in the subject, and then perhaps even the room that you meet in. All right. Now, if you're wondering, well, where does all that information go after you enter it? Well, if I get into one of my classes here, if you entered any of that information, there would actually be a button that would be visible right here. And you could click it and it would show more information. All right, so if you want to go back and add something later, change the description of your class, maybe some information about it, just go back to your cards, which is where all your classes are arranged, and then choose the edit option. And there you're back to where you can edit the name of that class as well as the subject and room number. Okay? All right, if you teach a lot of different classes, you can actually rearrange these. Google makes it easy. All you have to do is drag and drop. That feature didn't used to be there, and I know many teachers here were requesting it. And so I just said, keep requesting it. Ask Google if they'll do that. And lo and behold, one day it came. Continuing, it might be that you want to copy a class. Maybe you have your whole curriculum set up and then we move from one semester to the next. Well, rather than creating everything from scratch, it might be easier to just copy an existing class and then you can go in and rename it. Certainly would save yourself some time. The way you do that is just by, again, clicking on the dot menu there on any one of your classes, and then in this case we would choose copy. Now, when you choose that option, all right, it's going to give you the option here to change the name of the class. All right, again, the section number, subject, room. Now notice what it says up here. Create a new class with copied topics and items. Rosters and announcements won't be copied. All right, so just keep in mind whenever you do create a new class, there are some things that will be included and some things that won't. All right. And I think they set this up exactly how it should be set up, because you don't want to copy the same students, right? Because that would put them in your second class that you wouldn't want them in. And then announcements, that would be out of date, right? So it doesn't include that. But the assignments and the topics, so that you can sort your assignments, those will be there, all right? So that's a nice feature, okay? And that's copying. If you no longer use a class and want to remove it from visibility here, just choose the archive option. You'll see that again if you click the dot menu, and then you can choose archive. All right, that basically hides it from sight. I'm not going to choose archive, and the only way that you can see your archived classes then would be to click on your menu, and then your we'll call it a hamburger menu in the upper left-hand corner. You see that? If you click that, then there's the archived classes option that will allow you to see any class that you've archived. The nice thing about archived classes is even though they're not visible, you can still pull resources from them and reuse posts that exist in those archived classes. All right, so they may still be of benefit, but you don't want them right there in front of your face. All right, so that's why you would archive a class. Okay? Any questions about that? So let me go ahead and get into this demonstration class. Okay, here we are. You can see it's divided into 4 sections. We've got our stream, classwork, people, and grades. All right. To add students, you're going to, students, teachers, and guardians, those are all people, so you would want to go to the People tab. Okay, so just go ahead and click on that. Underneath teachers, you're going to see who the teacher is. In this case, it's me. If you wanted to add a co-teacher, that is another instructor there at your school or some other location that you would like to help you manage this Google Classroom, you can add them just by clicking this icon, Invite a Teacher. All right? That won't actually put them in the class. You can only send out an invitation for them to join. All right, under students, in terms of getting students into your class, I think probably the easiest way for most teachers at the beginning of the 9 weeks, I'm talking about here, and maybe in middle school, is to just get the class code and put that on the board and then have students join that way. Another way they could do it would be to invite students, but that requires manual entries and it's kind of a pain. All right? But you could do that. In this case, let's say if I wanted to invite somebody here, actually it's not going to work because I'm outside of our domain here, but I would click Invite Student and then I would search. I would start typing the name of the student and then it would appear here. Then I can click on their name, then choose Invite. Then whenever they get to Google Classroom, they'll see the card right there with an invitation and a prompt for them to accept and join the class. Okay, so, but I think really just putting the class code on the screen is going to be the easiest way, especially at the beginning of the 9 weeks. Guardian Summaries, this is a useful tool, and basically what Guardian Summaries does is it gives guardians a summary, exactly what it says, a summary of the student's work. All right, and so in order for that to work, you need to invite a guardian. So this fictitious person right here, Emilio Burton, in order for a guardian to receive an email containing a summary of his work, the grades, I'd have to first click Invite Guardians, then I would type in that guardian's email address, all right, and then I would choose Invite. It then waits on action to be taken from the invitee, all right? Now, if a parent or guardian has already accepted parent-guardian's invitation from another Google Classroom within your domain, you'll need to go to your Google Classroom settings, scroll down, and switch the Guardian Summaries option to the On position to have your class included in the summary. Be sure to click Save. All right, you have some bulk actions here that can be performed by clicking the top level checkbox. You'll see underneath actions, you'll see some of what these are. You can email them directly, remove them, or mute. This is good for classroom management. So if they're causing disruptions in your classroom stream and they're entering things that's being a distraction, you could choose the mute option right here. Then that removes their ability to type in comments. Okay, might come in handy. The only other option here is going to be to sort your students. by last name or first name. Let's move away from this right now, and we're going to go to our notification settings. It might be that you're bombarded by notifications via email, and there's a way that you can control that. And there's a notification right now. All right, what you would do is you would click on the hamburger menu in Google Classroom, all right, right here, and then you would go to Settings. All right, and inside Settings, right below your profile section, you have notifications. If those are turned off, you don't have to worry about getting any notifications. But if this is on, then you have the ability to specify what notifications you'd like to receive. All right, so if somebody posts a comment for classes you teach, somebody turns in something late, you can get an assignment. All right, that's going to be up to you. Okay? If you all would, go ahead and navigate over to, if you have a class that you've already created, your stream. Okay? You're going to get to your class stream. This is the first tab. Okay? So if you want to quickly share something with your class, it's quite easy. Just click in that top level box there and then start typing. All right? You have the ability to choose specific students if you want to see this. I don't know if you're aware of that. All right. So some differentiated learning can be applied here. Maybe I only want this to appear to 3 students and not the last one. I could just check those names. See that? As opposed to all of them. Okay, might come in useful. All right, you could also choose, if you teach several other classes, you could have this announcement be made to them as well. All right, you just check the other classes too. Okay? What type of media can we give to them?
Text, video.
Okay, text, so like a PDF, right? Content that is stored locally on our computer. We could upload that with the little paperclip icon. Any content that is inside Drive, we could add that. We could do a link directly to a YouTube video, an instructional video that maybe you've done, or just a regular hyperlink to some other location on the web. I had one of our art teacher, she had some teachers, not teachers, but parents join the Spanish class she does after school. And she had a folder she had created in Google Drive that had Spanish to English lessons in it. These were MP3 files, and she wanted to know a quick way that she could get those. So I said, well, just create the folder, make it publicly accessible, and then take the link and post it right here. And that's exactly what she did. And so those parents were able to get it real quickly. This way was instantaneous, and if she needed to make a change to it, she could just drop new files in there. They've already got the shared link right to that folder. All right, so if I start typing something here, the post button is going to become visible. You'll notice you have a couple options there. You can post it immediately, schedule it, or if you know that you're going to come back and work on it later, just choose Save Draft. Okay? All right, so if I type something here, this could be something you do sort of as like a bell ringer. You'll notice underneath the comment, I have the option to do a class comment. And if I switch over to this other student account, refresh the page, there it is. That student can go ahead and reply to anything that I've posted. This little icon over here, Reuse Post, that comes in handy. That prevents you from retyping things. So if we click that, that's going to pull up all of our classes that we've ever managed. We can get into any of those, find any of the posts that we've made, and basically select it and then repost it into this stream. Our options, once we've created a post here to the stream, is to move it to the top, edit the post, or copy the link to the post. Moving to the top only moves it temporarily. So in other words, it's not pinned there. So if you do new posts, it'll just move down the stream. Okay, and I wish that they would give us that option. I know it's something I've heard as far as requested features. Let's talk a little bit about organization. All right, so let's skip on over to the classwork section. All right, and as you can see, I've got in this make-believe class, I have 3 different topics. And really how you decide to sort and organize your information is going to be up to you. You can divide it up by maybe chapters. You can divide it up by semesters. I don't know how you all organize curriculum in your classes. How do you manage your stuff? Not organized? Okay. So that's something we're working on.
Yes.
Okay, we're working on it. Okay. Well, I tell you what, it does make it a lot easier for students to find content that you've posted if it's ordered in a logical way. All right, so I've just done it this way for an example. Chapter 1, Chapter 2. So these are going to be topics that we've created. All right, so if you click the Create button out there, you're going to see you have assignment, quiz assignment, question material, reuse, post, and then topic. So just think of topic as a category, right? And your topics are going to be listed over there on the left. Right now I have 3. Okay? See them right there? Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. So if you want to create a new topic, let's say I'm going to do that. I'm going to create a new topic, and this will be Chapter 4. Okay? I would choose topic, then I would give it a name, Chapter 4, and then I would click Add. And then it puts it down there at the bottom of my list. Now you're going to see how this affects assignments that we create here in just a second. All right? But just FYI, if you need to move your content, your classwork around, you can do that just by clicking and dragging. All you have to do is click on the title of the topic there and drag, and this will move it. You can also click the dots there, and you can move it down the list. It's probably a best practice to have the most current topic at the very top. That way your students aren't having to hunt and find it. Right? In fact, I had a teacher tell me today that if students have to hunt and find anything, they're going to give up. I mean, if it's not right up there at the top. So don't give them any excuses, right? Just post it up there at the top. All right? You can, of course, delete these topics if you want to, rename them. That's about it as far as topics go. All right? Now, how do we create an assignment? All right, again, you're in the classwork page. You choose Create and then Assignment. Okay? Now, just like you saw with the announcements on the stream, you have the ability to choose what class this is going to go to. All right? By default, it will check the class that you are currently in. See that? So it's automatically got that one. If you want others to get this assignment as well, you'd have to manually check those. All right? And again, by default, all students is checked, all right, unless you specify otherwise. All right, so you give your assignment a title, all right. Okay. If additional instructions are necessary to be entered, you could enter those there. We'll actually talk about grade categories a little bit later. But if you've already set that up, you could choose what category this falls into. In this case, I'm going to say this will be homework. All right, I can decide how many points this is going to be worth right here. If you don't have categories showing up, it's because we haven't set up those yet. Right? It appears here. That comes a little bit later in my training. Okay, so I've chosen homework there. Points, you can assign a due date. Let's say I want this all due by the end of the week. And then our topic. See, there's our topics. So in this case, I'm going to say Chapter 4. Okay? We'll talk about originality reports and rubrics a little bit later. If there's anything that you need to attach to this assignment in terms of instructions or handouts, you'll see that you can easily choose those right here. I will say if it's content from your drive and you want to make a copy for each student, The only way that you can do that is to do it in the initial assignment creation process. In other words, you can't create an assignment, post it, and then come back later and add materials that will be distributed to every student. In other words, they can't receive a copy. All right? So if I choose something from my drive here, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Here's a presentation. I'll choose Add. Now you see students can view this file, students can edit, or make a copy for each student. Okay, so if maybe you had a presentation, you've already got the structure of it set up, and you want them to just fill in the blanks, this would be a good option. Make a copy for each student. Okay, but again, this option only appears whenever you first create the assignment. If you come back here after it's been posted, the only options you'll see is student can view and student can edit. Okay? So what this does when we choose make a copy, it takes this presentation that you created and it makes a duplicate for them that they then own, that they can work on and then submit back to you.
You are looking at the stream, because the stream posts everything that you create, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So each student will only see their individual one that's been created for them.
Yeah, they're not going to see everybody else's. They will see that you created an assignment. That notification is going to be in the stream, and then when they click on it, it'll go to the assignment page, and there will be the copy of the presentation you just made for them. It'll even have their name on it.
So if I don't create a copy for each student, then they can only view.
Well, they can only view the presentation that you're attaching to the assignment. Now they can make a copy of it, right?
Okay.
All right, but this is just making a copy then on the back end by you is really, it works really well, I've found. Like everything else, you can choose to assign it immediately, or you can schedule it or save a draft if you want to come back to it a little bit later. All right? Now, if you click on Create and then choose Quiz Assignment, you're going to have an option here that I want to talk about. Okay? It's called Grade Importing. This will save you a lot of time. So what this will do when enabled, in the case of a blank quiz that you've created in Google Form, they can go ahead and take the quiz, and as soon as they're done on the assignment page, because we've enabled this feature here, we'll be able to automatically pull in all the grades with one click. All right? And so you're only going to see that option, grade importing, whenever you do a new quiz assignment, or if you do a regular assignment and you've attached a Google form to it. Okay? Where you've turned the form into a quiz. Okay? All right. Let me show you what it looks like to see that feature in action. I'm going to go to, let's see, Chapter 1, Quiz 1. Here it is. All right. Let me view the assignment. So we're viewing now as the teacher. All right. So if you didn't enable that feature, you would have to manually go in and enter their scores here. But because we did, all we'd have to do is click Import Grades. It pulls the results from Google Forms and it puts them right here for us. All right?
Now Google Forms, you can only do multiple choice.
Oh no, you can do multiple choice. You can do short answer. You can do long answer. You have some flexibility there.
And so if I do something short answer or long answer, I just have to put in what I accept, or I will have to manually grade those.
Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, it's a little harder with short answer or long answer because it would either have to exactly match what you've written there, or you'd have to come back later and grade it. Another feature I want to quickly talk about, and that is feedback tools. And again, I'll go back to our assignments here, and I'm looking for Alan Murphy, Chapter 1, Assignment 1. Here we go. All right, I'm going to view the assignment. Okay, so with any student, if you click on their name on the student work section of the assignment, you're going to have the option at the bottom to type in a private comment to them, specific to their assignment. okay? Another way you can do that is by just clicking on their assignment, just like so. And when you do that, you can come in. All right, you can add comments from a comment bank if you want. You can actually grade it right from here. All right, and you can view all the files that have been associated with this particular assignment. All right, so those are your three options there. All right, so let's say I want to pull from one of my comments that I've already created. I would simply select the text here. All right, and I want to copy this, insert comment. There we go. All right. Now that student, he goes to his assignment, Chapter 1, Assignment 1. And he clicks on it. He's going to see any comment that you've made, whether it's a private comment or if the document is open. He can come in here and see the comments that you made directly on the document. It should pull up here. Yeah, there it is. See what that looks like? Shows you where I've highlighted it as the teacher and then my comment to him regarding that specific issue. And then, of course, the student could reply to that. And we can go back and forth if we wanted to. Okay? Let's talk about the new features here. Gradebook. All right, in order to enable Gradebook, you've got to set some things up like categories. So how we do that is by clicking on the gear, all right, on your main page there in Google Classroom. So come back to your stream page rather, and then click on the gear. All right, see right down there. If you keep scrolling down, there's your grading. Now there are two ways you can grade. These can be done by category or by total points. So you can see for my demo class, I have quizzes are going to count for 20% of the overall grade, followed by tests, which are 30, projects 30, and homework 20. All right, that's just how I've set it up. You all may do things a little bit different. Do you have yours in categories?
Not in here, but yes, I do tests, assignments, and then our end of year tests.
Okay, so 3 different weights, right? Yeah, so if you're going to bring that over to Classroom, this would be how you do it. You just choose by category. If not, you just be going by total points. Okay? And you decide at the beginning of the term how many points equals an A, how many equals a B, right?
So does this grading system in Google Classroom go directly to Skyward?
Okay, that's a good question. It actually is coming. It is coming. Several months back, Google announced it, and then about a month ago, Skyward let us know that they were partnering with Google to do this.
2 useful classroom tools now living in harmony. We're excited to announce that Google Classroom is integrating with Skyward. We've partnered with Google for Education to build an assignment and grade sync between Google Classroom and Skyward's Gradebook, a true time saver for administrators and teachers. Teachers that enter grades and assignments into their Google Classroom will have their classes synced in Skyward with the click of a button, eliminating the need for duplicate entry, while administrators can configure the sync settings and enjoy greater confidence in the accuracy of their reporting and analytical data. We're excited for this partnership and can't wait for your district to love the rewards.
How it's going to work is you're going to, when it does get working in our system, on the grade page, you're going to see a little button that says sync with your SIS, and it'll automatically take your gradebook and push it up there to Skyward. That prevents duplicate entries. It's going to be really nice.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to ask, but what would be the benefit to keeping your grades in Google Classroom?
Yeah.
Is it just easier to access for students?
Well, it helps you.
Or it's just because
Well,
you're
all
doing
the content that all the assignments and things inside of Google Classroom that you've pushed out there that they've turned into you. You can see your grade book, you know exactly what they made. All right, so it keeps it all there. It's not going anywhere. You know how to get that information. Right now, though, in order to get it into Skyward, you're going to have to take it and enter it up there. Okay, so once you get your grading system configured, we can get out of here. Then you'll see up at the top where it says grades, and this is going to show you your grade book. This is what mine looks like with all my students. All right, and so some things, I mean, this is really handy because with any of these assignments, you'll see whenever they're turned in late, you can click directly on the student and see all of their work if you want to. So there's some real benefits to having this before we get true synchronization with Skyward. All right. So if I click Alan here, see it's going to show me all of his assignments. All right. Come back to my grades. You can even enter grades here. So if you wanted to override something, you could do it here. And that little sync button, the information I've seen, it shows it being right here whenever it's released. So all you'd have to do is fill in your grades and click sync and boom, you're done. That'd be nice. Okay, here's another new feature. This is nice. This is called Originality Report. For those who do language arts, you want to prevent plagiarism, this would come in handy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like here. All right, so I created an assignment here called a movie review. All right, and the assignment was for them to go ahead and watch the movie Gone with the Wind and then write a summary of it, okay, a review of it. All right, so in this case, this fella here, Alan Murphy, he's been assigned, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when he cheats and how I can catch him in it. All right, so if I come over here to his account here, and I am looking for the movie review, okay, he's going to view the assignment, and I'm going to go ahead and add a file from my Google Drive here. Okay, here it is. Alan, I did this beforehand. I copied a bunch of information off Wikipedia and a couple other sources. All right. Okay, so I'm going to attach that, and then I'm going to turn it in as the student. Okay, and I'll choose Turn In. Now I'll come back here as the teacher, and I'll click on his work. Here it is. All right, you can see 5 flagged responses, all right, when I clicked on his work. So if I choose that, it's going to show me where that information was coming from. So it gives me the student passage, and then where it's matched online, and then of course the address where they got it from. All right, and so we can cycle through all the problems. Okay, last thing I want to show you, and that is how you create a rubric. All right, so if your assignments are maybe non-traditional, creating a rubric might come in handy. So let me see if I can find where I've created one. Here we go. All right, so here's an assignment where I've actually created a rubric, and I can take a look at that rubric here. All right, I've divided it up into 4 sets of criteria. The project length, that's going to be worth 25 points. Graphics, works cited, and informational content right there. All right, so combine these up to 100%. And you can add as many sets of criteria as you want to whenever you create these rubrics. And I'll show you what that looks like. So click the Create button there, and then we go to Assignment. All right, once you give it a name, and then Instructions, you can see where it says Create Rubric. All right. So basically, the way I set this up before, criterion title, this is going to be for project length. right? You decide how many points that's going to be worth. All right. Levels, so you could have maybe mastery. On the other end would be needs improvement, and then you could have others in between. Okay? And then you could describe, well, what does that actually look like? Okay? So for 25 points, you might say this is mastery, right? And then if you add another level here, this might be sufficient, right? All right, but you would have to go ahead and add your points and then give it a description, and then you save it. And then student actually sees that as well once the assignment's created. The only thing, although I don't know that you would change the way you grade right in the middle of an assignment, because whenever you've done one of these, you can't go back in and edit the rubric, and you can't reuse it for another assignment. So this is still in its initial phases right now. Yeah. So I would say in the future we gain the ability to do a little bit more with it.
If you make an assignment and only assign to one student, does it show up on the other students' pages?
No, only theirs.
Or they can only see it?
That's right. It's like it doesn't even exist for those other students. Good question. Anybody else? Okay, well, you all, thank you for coming. I'm going to stick around for a couple minutes in case any questions occur to you. I've got your names, and so I'll make sure I turn it in to the powers that be so you get your banking hours, credit time. All right, and that's going to conclude it. I'll have a review of this. Actually, the recording here posted in a couple days if you want to come back and review anything. I'll be right there.